Good evening, Comic Kids. Cash Cow back with another video, guys. I know it's been a while, man. It's been a while. I don't think I've did a video in probably a month and a half, maybe close to it, guys. Just been paying close attention to what's going on with the world and the environment, and making sure my family's straight and prepping. You know, economy's down right now, so everything else is affected behind it as well. Talk more about that some other time, guys. Even if you guys going through it, stay positive. Let's just continue to make it and to another day and keep it going, guys. But with that being said, guys, now let me start off saying this. I have not seen Ant-Man Quantumania, so I don't know how that goes or anything, right? But today on Comic Stock Spotlight, we're gonna talk about the Growing Man. Oh yeah, Kang's basically android right-hand man, right? So basically, the Growing Man was created by this alien race called the Cosmosians, right? Cosmosians? I think that's right. Basically was a planet that Kang had conquered, the planet of Cosmos, and he made them subject to his rule. You know how that goes when it's dealing with him, right? So he had them build him an android. Now the thing with the Growing Man is he can be as small as an action figure, but he can grow to be as tall as a 10-story building, right? Like, dude, he can stretch. Like, he has the same Pym particles almost like how Ant-Man is. Ant-Man can go from being really tiny to boom, like he's a whole different person you fighting, right? But the way it goes with the Growing Man is his ability is to absorb kinetic energy. So from anything kinetic wise that hits him or strikes him, it grows. He grows it in. He absorbs it. Kind of like the Absorber Man, except Absorber Man can't grow that tall. Maybe we'll talk about him one day. We'll see. But anyway, guys. What also can I say? Ooh. What else is it about him? I don't know. I think that's it. Pretty much covered everything. Oh, one more interesting fact. He has quite a few battles and run-ins with Thor, Iron Man, and Avengers. Doesn't do too well. Of course, he's an android, and you know his power is only limited to kinetic absorption. So anything that's not kinetic, as far as like radiation or you know, what was the other one? It was radiation, and it was something else that can, like, he pretty much has no way to absorb that energy. But he does have weaknesses. Everything has strengths and weaknesses, and Growing Man is no better than that. But with that, guys, let's start off with the first. I'm showing you 3 comics. This is a little low budget one, guys, but Growing Man does appear in this. Hasn't really been figured out where his appearances are. You know his first appearance overall. We all know that. But we don't know what's important. Like he has appearances, but you don't know the importance of it. This is Iron Man 108. He appears in this, and he actually battles Yellow Jacket and Iron Man. I don't know, it could be a 5th or 6th or 7th appearance. I have no clue, but I know he appears in it. And hey, it's a cheap spec to check out. You know, you might see Growing Man. If he hasn't been in Quantumania, please don't spoil it in the comments. Or he could be eventually pushed into the MCU as we get more of Kang. Pretty sure that's probably going to be the way to go with Kang, with him being like one of Kang's top androids, I could definitely see them making a spot for the Growing Man. Or they could finally have it where Hydra, that storyline where Hydra sends him to battle the Thunderbolts. We still haven't got the Thunderbolts in the MCU, so there's no telling how they're gonna build that up. Maybe they'll build the Thunderbolts to a trilogy. We'll see on that. He's got a few ways to enter in, guys, if he hasn't already. And the thing about him is he has the ability to time travel as well. So there could be doppelgangers. Well, I mean, he's an android. You can recreate him. You can't really die. You can't really kill off the character. So, right? Next. Now, this one is kind of important, but now when you see Avengers 69, you already are like, okay, it's the first appearance of the Grand Master. It's the first cameo appearance of the Squadron Sinister. But this is also important because it has a Growing Man appearance in it. Kang appears in it as well. This one is not a bad copy to have of him at all, especially being the fact this is already a solid book, solid spec, because people are specking on Squadron Sinister or Squadron Supreme, whichever one they want to go by. I would put my money on this book. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be very stable. It's a very solid pick. But the thing people overlook is the fact that the Growing Man actually appears in this book. I think it's worth their while if you're actually specking on the Growing Man. Just my hunch, right? Next, and the last one, guys, of course you know, is Thor number 140. That is the first appearance of the Growing Man. This book has actually been gaining a little steam. It went from a real, like a $10 book to maybe a $25 book, depending on the grade. Now, if the grade ain't right, then yeah, you're not really gonna spend any money. And you guys know how that goes. I have like 2 copies, maybe 3 myself. I'm really specking on Growing Man being in these movies. I think that they're going to use that. If they haven't already, I'll say that again for the last time. If he's not in Quantumanium already, eventually they're going to build up to where they show more of Kang's origin story, and you see how he's built this and how he becomes Ramatut and this and that and that. That's the beauty of it. But you know, if they continue to do Kang, we gotta get the Growing Man. Got to. He starts off, his first opponent is Thor. Sends him to battle Thor. Thor beats him. Kang comes in trying to help him. He beats him too. But just read the comic books for that. I'm not going to tell you about that unless you read it. If you read it, then you know. Guys, I think this is a safe pick. I think Growing Man is definitely going to be a solid character. Like I said, he's an android, so he can't be killed off. Or if he does get destroyed, Kang could just make another one. So, how can you really, it's a machine, just make another one, you know? It's not like a human, not like Iron Man dying off, and Tony Stark's no longer in the movies. Like, that's actual human. This is an android. So, with the Growing Man, you have limitless possibilities. He can appear with the Thunderbolts, like I said. He can appear finally when Kang goes to conquer something. He can appear in the Secret Wars whenever they finally do that. We don't know. All I'm saying is Growing Man's not an expensive spec. Don't have to spend a lot of coins to take a risk on this first appearance. This one maybe, yeah, this one getting a little up there. It's certain, pricey a little bit. But that one's gonna be, once this really gets introduced, they're gonna finally chapter in Log at A, Growing Man's in that as well. I think he has like 13 appearances, so he doesn't have like that many. But for a villain, that's a pretty good amount. Like for a mid-level C to D level villain, that's pretty good. With that being said, guys, it's Cash Cow another video. We wrapping it up. Spec on that grown